MySpace. Well, that's cool. That's social networking. Let me try to create something like MySpace. You know, or you say, well, I see YouTube. That looks interesting. What can I do that's like YouTube? It's sort of like just experimenting, picking and choosing. Once you understand these models and how they relate, now you have the ability to actually see what could be done, what's possible. So you can actually get ahead of the curve rather than just, you know, understanding and trying to mimic what's been going on. So we're pretty excited about it, and we hope you'll find it valuable. So, okay, so getting started here. This is an example of a virtual community. It's a virtual community for open source software development. And there's a software package called Apache, you see at the top there. And Apache is software that basically runs web servers, and these are the servers that run the website. So when you go on the internet and you're accessing a website, on the other end, wherever that site is, they have web server software. And so Apache is software that accomplishes that purpose. This is a very large market. This is probably over $1 billion market for software. Well, the top curve, the blue curve, you can see is Apache, and you can see they've had, this is market share, so they've been running 60%, 70%. They've actually lost some ground lately, but they're still doing well. This software is produced by volunteers in virtual communities. This next line, this red line, is Microsoft, which is arguably the richest company in the world with some of the best software development people in the world. And for 12 years, Apache has maintained this kind of market share lead over Microsoft. How can that happen? That's pretty amazing. But you say, well, all right, but that's open source software. That's free. You can't charge for that. Well, let's look at another way of looking at virtual communities and their power in the business community. Facebook. All right, you guys know about Facebook, right? You mentioned it. So Facebook is basically a business built on a community of people that want to socialize with each other. They want to do social networking, right? Okay. Actually, I think it was Wednesday. I don't know if you've been following it. Google and Microsoft have been vying for a piece of Facebook. Small piece, but a piece. Well, I think it was about Tuesday or Wednesday, Microsoft actually won. So they paid something like $240 million for some small percentage of Facebook, which gives Facebook a value of $15 billion. $15 billion. Now, Facebook was started 3.5 years ago. They presently have 300 employees. 300 employees. Now, if you take 15 billion and divide by 300, you get $50 million per employee. It's unbelievably productive. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Is there a little bit of bubble here? Probably. You know, did Microsoft want to finally win one against Google? Probably. But still, I think that's amazing. Here's another example. YouTube. You guys know YouTube, right? You guys are using it. It was started in 2004. Two guys in a garage basically started this company. 21 months later, Google bought it for $1.65 billion. At that time, there were 67 employees. Incredible. What is YouTube? It's driven by a community, virtual community. The whole business is built on the notion of a community of people sharing content. Is it the same kind of community as Facebook? Is it? Think about it. Facebook, these are people that just want to network with each other. These are social networks. YouTube are people that want to share videos. Okay? So it's different, but it's still a virtual community. You're going to see, as we've been looking at these and studying these, we've had to sort out, well, what are the differences? And you're going to see very clearly once we get into it how there are different markets and there are different models. But what I'm pointing at here is just how powerful these virtual communities can be and how big a business opportunity they can be. Just if you want to get a couple of benchmarks, I just ran some numbers to look at market value per employee. Microsoft is $4 million per employee. So you can see that compares to the 22 or the 50. eBay, which is also a virtual community business, but a lot more mature. It's probably the original virtual community business, which right now is around $50 billion in value. mostly based on an exchange community. Realize, the people buying and selling on eBay are not eBay employees, they're a community. So, but divided by number of employees, it's about 3.6 million. A more standard business, say General Electric, is about $1 million value per employee. And poor old General Motors is about 76,000. So, sorry, General Motors. So anyway, this gives you some perspective of what kind of business impact these communities are having. So what is a virtual community? Basically and simply, a virtual community is a group of individuals who interact on the web around shared or complementary interests. That's it. That's all it is. Now, if you look at the literature, you'll find some different definitions for it. But what we're trying to do here is make it simple and practical from a business standpoint. And so this is a very workable definition, and basically for the rest of what you're going to see, this is the assumptions that we're making, that this is how we view virtual communities. You notice it says individuals, it doesn't say organizations. And we can argue about, well, maybe there's some that include organizations that work with each other too in a kind of community, and that is true. But we're focused on individuals here. And we can, not tonight, but build an argument that says, these are very special kinds of communities that involve individuals only. What's special about these is that they are made possible by Web 2.0 technologies. These are these software collaborative technologies. Actually, you touched on it some in the knowledge management presentation earlier. Some of the technologies that go into knowledge management systems are also involved here, whether it involves communication or collaboration or so forth. But these are especially designed for use on the web by individuals who access the web directly. So a virtual community cannot exist without Web 2.0 technologies. Okay. Sometimes you might have a community that forms like this as a virtual, and then people get to know each other, and it turns into a different kind of community. Fine, but that's not what we're talking about. This kind of virtual community is probably not what you think about. If I said the word community and didn't say this, okay, you probably think about people that kind of know each other, right? You probably met, maybe you meet in a hall, or you know somebody who knows somebody else. That's typically not what these are. These are, again, individuals who interact, and we'll talk about what that means, but that's important you understand it. Individuals that interact on the web about either shared or complementary interests. So sometimes that interaction is direct, and sometimes it's indirect. I'll fill in a little more detail on that. Why are these communities so powerful? Well, three things we think are important. One is you're tapping into a worldwide pool of talent and resources. So as opposed to, for example, a team in a corporation where you're limited to the employees of the corporation, these communities really pull from anywhere in the world. Anybody who has an interest in joining can join a community. You have motivated contributors. Most of the time, the people that are involved are doing it for passion. They do it because they love it. They want to do it. They're not being paid to do this. Okay, now I admit, in eBay, okay, if you go and put your printer on there, you're looking to get some money back. But still, you're doing it because you want to. It's not like you're doing it, your boss said, hey, go sell this printer, it's a different thing. So you tend to have people, when they work, they're very motivated because they're doing it because they want to. And lastly, there's something that we call collective feedback. And this is the idea that these communities are open. So all the interaction that happens in the community, everybody else can see it. It's not in a closed room. It's all, the blog is there open, right? Anybody can go and see what's going on in the blog. Or in the social network, to some extent you can see. Now sometimes there's some privacy issues there, but generally speaking, it's all open, okay? So what happens is, interaction goes on, something results from that, and other people see the interaction and they can jump in. They can add to it. And that can have a big effect, especially when it comes to knowledge, creating knowledge in the way that knowledge can build on other knowledge and so forth. So these are kind of three reasons why virtual communities can be as powerful as they are. All right. So I'll give you my little smiley face thing here. Just